The act of melding different genres into one game is something that developers have been doing for many years. An example of this is a game we reviewed not too long ago called Dead Man's Cross. This game has card collecting and card battling elements, RPG elements, puzzle elements, and shooting elements. So what is it? Is it a card game? Is it a shooter? Is it an RPG? Is it a puzzle? It's a little bit of everything. There are a lot of more games coming out as the years go by that will go into this that are really hard to define. Today we have a review on a game that is very much like these. This game was once an exclusive to the Nintendo Wii U, but now has been brought over by Dako Dako to the PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, and PlayStation TV. I now present to you review number 200 to date for PS Vita reviews. Here is my video review of Scram Kitty DX. The story of Scram Kitty revolves around a person who receives a message from his long-lost kitty known as Scram Kitty. As you translate the message, you realize that your kitty has been lured and trapped in a large space laboratory that is orbiting the planet. As you figure out more that went on, an experiment went wrong in the laboratory and created a race of mutant, super smart lab rats. These lab rats then took over the facility, lured every cat in the world to the facility, and held them captive there. It is then up to you to grab an anti-gravity spinboard and infiltrate the facility to rescue all of the cats and take down the mutant lab rats. The story of Scram Kitty isn't something that is told to you as you play the game. If you just boot up the game, you will go straight into the gameplay and won't even know anything about the plot. The plot is detailed, but only if you go outside of the game and go into the in-game manual to read about the plot. There are no scenes, there is no introduction that tells you what's going on. The story is a pretty decent premise for what you're doing, but the problem is that you're not told and you have to go out of your way just to find it in the manual, if you even think about looking in the manual for it. Scram Kitty DX is a game that is hard to define because it has elements from various genres. The game has platforming elements, the game has shoot-'em-up elements, and the game has puzzle elements. The closest defining genre I can say is that the game is an arcade platformer with shooting and puzzle elements. When you first boot up the game, you will be taken to a main menu with 4 different areas for you to go into. The first 2 areas are Adventure and Challenge, where you can play through the game stages. Adventure mode is the main campaign of the game, where you can play through the 29 stages to rescue the cats and win the game. Challenges, however, is a new mode exclusive to the DX version of the game, where you can revisit those stages for various challenges. The last 2 sections are Options and Cross Save. Options is where you can modify the sound effects and music volume, and Cross Save is where you can synchronize your save across the PlayStation Network to use on both the PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 4 versions of the game. Actually playing through each stage has you platforming as well as defeating enemies and doing various other objectives in order to rescue cats. As you play through each stage, there are 4 different types of cats you can rescue, and not all stages have you rescuing all 4 types. The first type of cat only requires you to reach the end of the stage. The second type of cat requires you to collect 100 of the coins scattered across the stage to make them appear. The third type of cat requires you to chase it around the stage with time limitations. And the fourth type of cat requires you to find and defeat a mini-boss in order to make it appear. The big key aspect in the challenge of the game comes from 2 factors. First of all is how you actually do these challenges. As you traverse the stage, there will be a lot of traps and obstacles for you to go around. You'll need to shoot your way through some, use various weapons for others, or use the invincible double jump to be able to avoid some undestroyable aspects like the spike pits. The other aspect is the frustrating fact that you have to restart a stage from the beginning if you run out of health. Let's say you go through a stage, do the objectives for all 4 cats your first time through, you're about to win the stage, you spent like 10 or 15 minutes on the stage carefully doing each objective, and a spike hits you right at the last moment, right before the end, and you lose your health. Now you have to redo the entire thing from the get-go. While it's true that each stage doesn't take that long to replay, it is still a very frustrating point. All in all, across the game's 29 different stages, you should expect Scram Kitty to last you at least a few hours. You can also extend this time if you don't get into the system right away, or by going back and redoing all of the stages in challenge mode. All in all though, it's got a fair amount of length for what type of game it is. While the visual presentation and performance of many Vita games are the most downer point, this is one of the most positive points for Scram Kitty DX. First of all, the visual presentation is ported over very well. All of the 2D visuals and 3D effects look flawless, crisp, and clear. As far as the performance is concerned, everything looks good there as well. There is little to no lag or slowdown to be considered, and the load times are near non-existent once you get the game loaded to the main menu. Just like the indie game Minutes that we reviewed last month, Scram Kitty DX was well optimized for the Vita and runs very well. Scram Kitty DX is an enhanced version of the once Wii U exclusive, now for the PlayStation Vita, PlayStation TV, and PlayStation 4. You have to go to the manual and go out of your way to be able to find out what the story is about, as well as finding the controls for the game. Outside of this is a well-optimized and cute platform shooter puzzler that any arcadey fan or kitty fan will be sure to enjoy. PlayStation Vita Reviews rates our 200th game to date, Scram Kitty DX, a 9 out of 10. Thank you for watching this review, and if you have any comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments below on our site or on our forum, which will be linked at the end of this video.